Okay, so now we're going to talk about domain and range from a graph. And they're going to give us a picture of a function, which is often done. And we want to be able to say what the domain is and what the range is. So the big thing on this is I can do lots of examples. I could do like 50 videos with different examples. Nobody wants that. But you got to get the concepts here, okay? So for domain, you're talking about x values. Values along the x-axis. So think about, here's the function. It's in blue. Maybe I can highlight it. Okay, here's the function. It's going like that. And let me scroll up a little bit. Yeah, okay, so it's just going off forever there. But notice it starts here. Okay, well, that's enough of that. Think about being like Mario, from Mario Brothers. Okay, and you're walking along. When do you get to the function? Now, the reason you're Mario Brothers is because you have to jump up to hit the function. See, over here, there's nothing to jump up to. There's no function defined over there. The first place we can jump up and hit something is right there at -5. That's where the domain is going to start. So we're going to say the domain, and it's going to include -5 because that's a solid dot in spite of all my marks there. That's a solid dot, okay? Now, Mario he's jumping, he's hitting the graph. He can also jump down, okay, pretend. So he's walking along the x-axis. Anywhere along here he can hit the graph, right? And when does it stop? Well, it doesn't. It's going to infinity. So the domain here is going to be from -5 to infinity, parenthesis. Remember, infinity always gets a parenthesis. Okay, now for range, I tell my students, turn your head sideways. We're going to go from bottom to top, okay? Lowest to uppermost. Okay, so now you're going this way, though, okay? So where, you're starting at the bottom, where do you start? Well, it looks like -infinity because that's going down, 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 right? Okay, so our range is going to start from -infinity, and then I can get to the graph. I'm jumping, I guess, sideways now. Still can get to the graph until, I'm going to scroll back up, until I get to, well, right there, that's the last point right there that I can get to, which happens to be a 5. So my domain is going from -infinity to 5. Now, that 5 is included because that is a solid dot there, okay? If it had been an open dot, then we wouldn't include it. Okay, so domain goes from left to right. Range goes from bottom to top. Because you got to go in interval notation, you have to go smallest to largest. But sometimes this is tricky, so I think I've got another example for you. Okay, so here you've got, it looks like an open dot there. So we're starting at -3, my domain. I'm on the x-axis. So parenthesis, I'm not going to include the -3 because it's an open dot. And then I can hit the graph all the way until I get to 1. Now, do I include the 1 or not? It's a solid dot, so I include the 1 bracket. Okay? That's going to be the domain. The domain, you're looking at the x values. Where is the graph? All right. Now, turn your head sideways, and we're going to go with the range. So what's the lowest point? Right there, right there. Those are the lowest points. Where is that starting? -4. Bracket? Yeah, because there's a point at both of those. Okay? And then how high up does it go? Well, the top point is right there at 0. Now, you're probably at home going, wait a minute, what about that 0? Okay, so why is it a square bracket if you're saying that? I'll tell you. Okay, so there are 2 points. There's one here. Oops, I need some kind of thing there. That's a point, 0, 0. So 0 is part of the range for that point. It's not part of the range here, but it doesn't have to be in there twice. It's okay that it's only in there once, okay? So I mean, I guess if this had been an open dot, then you wouldn't include it. But it wasn't an open dot. That was a solid dot there. Okay? All right, so hopefully that wasn't confusing. Now we've got another one. By the way, this is my little abbreviation here, my notation. Capital D for domain and capital R for range. Okay, so this is more of a practical situation. Alaska crude oil product. Okay, so it's 1,000 barrels per day we're measuring, and then it looks like this is the year from there. We're starting at 0, year 0. I don't know about that. What are the increments here? Five increments, so this would probably be 1970, I'm going to say. So my domain, I think, is going from 1970. I'm including that. I'll tell you why in a minute. To, well, it's going past 2005. I'll say 2010. I wish they would have given me, oops, that's not 2010. I wish they would have given me a little bit better points there. Okay, so that's what I would say for it. And then what's the range? Well, it looks like it's just over 200 there. Oh, it goes down, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to say it's from 200 to, what's the top point? It looks like about 2,000. I'm just only going to get to be general here because I can't read the graph that well. But that's what I would say then for the domain and the range. The domain is going from about 1970 to 2010, and it looks like the range is from 200,000 barrels per day up to 2,000. Okay. So back on this problem here with my pen apart. I noticed that the book doesn't include the 0. It has a parenthesis there. The book's wrong. Sorry. They make mistakes, and this time they're wrong, because there's obviously a point there with the range being 0. So just FYI. Their approximation was a little bit different on the Alaska oil project. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Okay.